I wish to just say one thing here tonight. I'm at least happy for one thing, Mohan, that we are doing a fair debate on the mixed record of Dr. Manmohan Singh. I tell you who's being most unfair. Those who have painted his record as beyond brilliant and unblemished. For that, I can assure you, nobody in the country believes, not even congressmen, that it was. Yes, he was a great man, a great scholar. From humble origins to a DPhil from Oxford and finance ministry is fantastic. But then his record as Prime Minister was very, very questionable and must not be confounded by the data of growth figures alone. My next speaker on this very important subject is Mohan Das Pai, please. Mohan Das Pai, please.
Arnab, I would like to talk about Dr. Manmohan Singh and his contribution. Before that, let me give some data to Merotra, because as usual, it's one-sided. It is true that 80 million people more have come to agriculture. The data is correct. But within agriculture, the share of women has gone up to about 63%. Around 54, 55%. Men have come down to 37%. It shows men are leaving agriculture, going on to other jobs, emigrating, and women who are the background are coming into agriculture because they were not working anywhere else. They're coming into agriculture because of the expansion of animal husbandry, milk, self-help groups, etc. I think that must be seen in a particular context. But people like Dr. Merotra have to give one-sided. That's okay. Now let me talk about Dr. Manmohan Singh. Overall, when you look at Dr. Manmohan Singh, I think we must be grateful that we had a great technocrat at a critical point of time in our history. Before the 1991 liberalization, globalization, Dr. Manmohan Singh was a good technocrat, bureaucrat. He followed the political philosophy and ideology of the government of the day. He was part of the control regime. We didn't see him do any great liberalization before then, because the political situation was the political ideology had to be followed, and he followed. He did a fairly good job as a bureaucrat and a technocrat. In 91, when he was picked up, I think that's where the brilliance of the man came out very clearly. He very clearly elucidated the future path for India, liberalized India, globalized India, got his team together, sequenced it very well, and took all the structural decisions required to give us back our economic freedom. And for that, all Indians have to be eternally grateful to the man. Of course, he got political cover from P.V. Narasimha Rao, because Narasimha Rao was shrewd enough to understand there was no escape from what had to be done, because we are broken, we had no foreign exchange, verge of default, and we had to open up and obey the IMF dictates to get that money. But he sequenced it beautifully and gave us hope. And in his speech, a frail man standing up in Parliament on the day, and in 1 hour, he liberated all of us economically and gave us back our economic freedom. And he said, nobody can stop the march of an idea whose time has come, quoting Victor Hugo. And he said that India will have a great future. And we've seen that impact. India's GDP grew from $275 billion in 1991 to $3.5 trillion today, a CAGR growth rate of 8.11% in dollar terms for 33 years. And this is fantastic. And I think we all kudos due to him. Of course, the reforms faltered in the later part of Narasimha Rao's regime. Then we had Vajpayee. And when Vajpayee left, he gave an economy which was rocking 8.4. Manmohan Singh was chosen as Prime Minister by the family and the party. I would say family first and the party, because always a family loyalist. Later, after Narasimha Rao, remember when Narasimha Rao's body was not allowed to go into the AIC headquarters, we didn't see any protest from Dr. Manmohan Singh, even though Dr. Manmohan Singh was his alter ego. And he just kept quiet at what was happening because he obeyed the family. He was a part of the family politics, and he became Prime Minister. Nobody believed that he could be Prime Minister. He did a good job. In the first 5 years, he did not do any great political reform, did many social reforms, brought in many programs, Manrega and the Right to Food Act, Right to Education Act. He did many things, but many were done under the compulsion of the NAC. He made the Prime Minister's office subordinate to the NAC and the kitchen politics that was there happening in the family, which was very sad because he stood up as the Prime Minister. Of course, he stood up as the Prime Minister for the Indo-US nuclear deal and showed courage. I think he threatened them that he would go, and nobody could have said him to go. And and he came back to power, and that's very good because we had 5 great years in UPA 1, because the momentum was carried forward. And UPA too, all the trouble started with all this corruption. He could never stop the corruption. I don't think he knew what was happening in the government. No minister obeyed him, I think, from whatever we know at that point of time. They did what they wanted. The kitchen cabinet was on. And the scion of the family insulted him openly to show who was the power. They were the power.
Yes.
And he was the family. I don't like using this word, you must forgive me, and I think people of the country must forgive him. He behaved like a family retainer, which is very sad, because, all of us have great respect for the integrity and intellectual ability of the Dr. Manmohan Singh, even today. In fact, you'll remember, Arnab, on TV debates, when people are abusing him for his lack of integrity and saying he's corrupt, I was defending him. I was saying there is a man of great integrity. There is a man of great loyalty to the family, and loyalty to the family possibly overtook his loyalty to the chair and possibly to the prime ministership, and he took the hit for whatever corruption was happening.
I think he was trying to.
I'll just end. Onar Arnab, we must remember him for the good deeds.
No, that of course. See, the thing is
much more than some things that did not do.
The things are here, Mohan. You've put it brilliantly as usual.